Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Pollock County Airport Authority meeting. Before we get started, Reverend Tony Sample, would you open us up with a prayer, please, sir?
Lord, we're grateful for this beautiful day you bless us with, and we thank you for the coolness of the morning. It reminds us that you refresh us every day. We're so grateful for that. And Lord, I pray that we'll be reminded today that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart need to be acceptable in your sight. So I pray that you would guide this meeting, give wisdom, your wisdom where it's needed. And Lord, just pray that we would honor you in everything we do. We just place this meeting in your hands in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Tony. Thank you. Okay, let's welcome our guests. We got any elected officials. I see two back there, Todd and Dave. Would you stand up and take a bow for us, everybody? Appreciate you guys.
Good morning.
Thank you, guys. Okay, approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance to go through them from last month.
For the August 20th?
I do.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next agenda item is citizens wish to speak. Todd Cornell. Get your card ready. Mr. Cornell, you familiar with our policy, aren't you? 5 minutes, and then we'll give you 1 minute warning, and you're right 1 minute, so.
1 minute warning, or I'll give you whenever you want the warning. If you want it 2 minutes, or, Tom, why don't you give me a 2 minute warning? I'll give you a 2 minute warning. And then you can give me a 1 minute warning. I'll be good. You gonna hold up 2 fingers and that's gonna be 2 minutes?
Just let us know when you get ready to get started.
I appreciate it. You want it, how are you? All right. You can start. All right. Good morning. I'd like to say I appreciate the opportunity to come to speak to y'all this morning. It's been almost a year since the announcement of the commercialization and the new project out at the airport, October 3rd, 2013. And a lot of things have gone on. I'm talking to you this morning about the intergovernmental agreement. The reason that I'm coming to talk to you this morning about the intergovernmental agreement is because in '74 there was a vote, in '99 there was a vote, and the people of this county spoke very loud, about 70%, and they said they didn't want an airport. Most recently this year, there's been a vote, and there's been a PR firm that has done some PR work, some phone calls, door knocking, over 10,000 doors, and it comes out to over 70%. In fact, in some parts of the county, it was pushing 80 to 82% of the people did not want commercialization of an airport. There was a vote done in the primary, and every candidate that supported the airport as far as commercialization lost. Every candidate that opposed the commercialization and opposed the way it was done won. Every candidate. So I had a speech written out this morning, and I decided to set it off to the side. We've been before one another, commissioners meetings and these meetings for almost a year. October 3rd will be a year. Y'all were going to be flying flights out of here before the end of 2013. And it's been a year. It'll be another year if you get to what you want. It'll be another year before it happens. The last 2 days I've had people send me text messages with Bible verses, emails, call and give me words of encouragement. I had my pastor call this morning and pray with me. Your pastor was here this morning and prayed. Mrs. Ambles, it's good to see you. But I realized that there's nothing else that I can say that I haven't said for the last year. And I realize in my quiet time and thinking about what's going on over the past year, that you guys already know in your heart what's right. I've had the opportunity to talk to some of y'all. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you, one-on-one personally. And if I could put on a screen some of the things of our conversation, I think this board would be surprised what each other thinks about what's happened over the past year. I'm at a 2-minute warning. You know how I feel about it, and I feel like we're elected in office to serve and be the voice of the people. And I feel like that's what I've done. Over the past year, I've had nobody come up to me and say, hey, I want a commercial airport. I've had nobody over the past year say anything about it. However, back in 2004, when this project started, Mr. Thompson, with your leadership and the leadership of Jerry Sharon, the Board of Commissioners, Hal Eccles, rest his soul, Wayne Kirby, Don Powell, Larry Ragsdale, along with the law firm that still represents this board today, was in meetings where commitments were made and told this would not be a commercial airport. Told the city of Atlanta this would not be a commercial airport. In this letter that I passed out to you is a letter from the city of Atlanta. If you want the lawsuits to go away, if you want this community to start healing and be united, if you want families to start pulling together, if you want things like this to quit happening, all you gotta do is stop it. There's been two people tell me they wanted a commercial airport. Somebody from New York and somebody from Cobb County. Other than that, that's it. I'm asking you to table this, deny this, do not accept this intergovernmental agreement. Do the right thing for Paulding County. Do the right thing for the citizens of this county. Let this community start the healing process. If this was right for our community, we would not have the disgruntled things that are going on. We would not have families against families, friends against friends, and we would not have to have meetings like this if this was the right thing for our community. So I'm asking each of you to look deep in your heart. Do the right thing for Paulding County. Do the right thing for the citizens of this county. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this morning.
Okay, moving on. Thank you, Mr. Covell. Appreciate you. Agenda item number 6, approve intergovernmental agreement.
No, you gotta go to 3.
You jumped one on me there, Blake. All right, let's go to approve the financial statement. Anybody want to go over the financial statement while Chuck's here?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. FPL report from Joe Sauter.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Joe.
Sales were up 13% in July. Last month was one of our busiest months we've had in a long time. Had 162 takeoffs, 154 landings, 281 touch and goes, and 25 visitors to the FBO. We averaged 2.3 transactions per day, with 1 new AirNav comment, still remaining a 5-star rating. Military was on safety stand-down. Operations will resume in October. Due to the location change of the airport authority meetings, having them up here as opposed to the airport is going to be tougher for us to make these meetings because we're such a small operation. So Blake and I agreed that we'll probably start trying to do a quarterly meeting where we can keep you guys updated. If you guys have any questions you would like addressed at this meeting, shoot me an email. I would be glad to make arrangements to try to make the meeting or respond to via email. That's all I have.
I talked to Kerry this morning. He said he would volunteer to, if you would email him the report, and he would give it to us, and then if you had any questions, then we can address
Yes, sir.
you.
I will continue to email to Blake and Judy.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll miss you there, Joe. Thank you, buddy. All righty. Joe Snyder.
I'm filling in for Joseph this morning.
Okay.
The 2 projects going on right now, the safety area project is finishing up the punch list now. They did the additional work and final touches on some grading and finishing up the grassing. The taxiway widening project, they're finishing up the punch list also. They had some grading, shoulder grading touch-up to do, and I think they're on the last section this week, and hopefully they'll finish up this week, if not early next week. So that's it for the projects.
I got any questions for Joe, for Jacob? Thank you, Jacob.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Okay, now we go to agenda item 6, approve intergovernmental agreement contract with Paulding County Board of Commissioners. Blake Swan.
You've all seen the intergovernmental agreement. We have been working on that for, I guess, a couple of months as far as ironing out the details. 2 weeks ago at the Board of Commissioners meeting, they did approve the intergovernmental agreement, and we have the opportunity here to approve it as well. All of you are aware of the framework. Essentially, the biggest thing that it does really and truly is shifts me from being a county employee to being an airport authority employee, and puts more responsibility on the airport authority to do what you already do, which is operate the airport. Shifts the budget directly over, so that instead of the budget going through the county finance department, the budget will come through you guys. So the budget approval process will be clearly with the airport authority and not through the county. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to address them.
Like I noticed on the schedule for each year that where the county is paying the airport authority is reduced by $25,000 a year. What is that, anticipation of new revenues or what?
It is. It's anticipation of new revenues to be generated by the airport, both in ground leases as well as commercial service and other activities that we see developing at the airport. It is also a mechanism, quite frankly, to require the airport to become self-sustainable. That has been the goal ever since day one when we constructed the airport, is for the airport to get to a point where it's self-sustainable. So this is a bit of a mandate, I guess you would call it, to move in that direction.
So the first payment is what, October the 20th?
Yes, that's
This is
correct.
approved.
Yes.
So where does the airport authority take over like the payables?
October 20th, we take over everything lock, stock, and barrel.
Is that payables that's been accumulated at, say, the previous 30 days or previous 60 days? Do we take those over, or we just take it from that day forward?
We take everything that has not been already paid by the county, so if there's any outstanding invoices that haven't been paid by the county, then we take those. But the way the payment is set up is it's 1/2 of the annual budget that's been approved, and anything that minus what they have already paid. So things they've already paid come out of that first payment. Things that they haven't already paid, just simply the invoice comes over with the lump sum payment that they make. So everything that should have been covered by the county will be covered by that budget.
And, you know, and our main goal here, Ellis, is to grow this thing corporately, regardless of what you hear in the media and everything. But our goal is to grow this airport corporately. Corporations and people can afford corporate airplanes, because, you know, I've preached this for day one. We parked one $5 million airplane out there, and that'll equate to about 55 homes in ad valorem taxes. And it doesn't pull off the water, the sewer, or anything. And the power just sits there. So we are aggressive because of the economy is the reason we haven't been able to success with this corporate. And so our main goal is to get Blake out there and to give him some longitude and latitude to get out here and call on these customers that make aircraft, repair aircraft, all the kinds of things that go along with an airport, not just for commercial service, by no means. It's for corporations, and that's our main goal, always has been our goal, to grow this thing corporately. The economy's what set us back, and starting in 2006, so, you know, our goal is to someday get Blake in a position to where he can get out there and go see these people and have some FaceTime with them and sell this airport. And so it's a good thing for us to be able to get, you know, him being so tied up with government affairs and stuff, to get him out there. So anybody else want to say anything about it? Motion approved.
I'd like to make that motion that we authorize the chair to execute the intergovernmental agreement with the Board of Commissioners, but I would like it subject to a final review by council. That's how I would like to make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approve emergency runway and runway lighting repairs due to lightning strike.
I think we have kept you pretty well up to date on the lightning strike at the airport, but I want to go ahead and give a full report on that now, and then talk about the cost of the repairs. I guess it's 3 weeks ago now that we showed up on a Thursday morning to work at the airport and found multiple holes in the runway, about 3 to 4 foot diameter and about 5 to 6 inches deep. They were on the west end of the runway, pretty much right on the touchdown threshold, and there were 2 holes adjacent to each other and a third that was about 20 feet away from the first 2. It was obviously a lightning strike. The lightning strike not only damaged the concrete with the 3 holes, but it also damaged the runway lighting. It knocked out about 42 runway lights, so approximately about half of the runway lights got taken out with the lightning strikes. Obviously, we had to shut the runway down. We had to do an emergency repair on that. In order to get the runway back open, essentially what we did was we went in and we basically cleaned out the holes, and we put a temporary patch in the hole. So we used a high strength patch concrete like you would see used on the interstate system in order to secure the runway and get the runway back open. We do have to do permanent repairs. We can't just leave those patches in there, so we're going to have to go in and actually cut those out all the way down to the subgrade and repair those. So we brought Astra in, who, as you all know, has done the work on the taxiway widening. They're familiar with the airport. They knew how to operate. They knew how to open and close and that type of thing. So we needed to use somebody who was familiar with the airport and familiar with the operations, so that we're not having to try to teach somebody and train somebody in an emergency situation where we need to get the runway open very quickly. So they came in and did the temporary repair. They've given us a price on doing the permanent repair. All of this has been sent to our insurance company, and we're waiting on response from the insurance company. The total cost for the repair of the runway, which includes the temporary and the permanent fixes, is $24,076. The repair estimate on the lighting, which is a little bit more tricky because once Lost Mountain Electric, which is our vendor for electrical service at the airport, once they get into replacing these bulbs, there is a chance that they're going to find some transformers that will be damaged. There's a chance they can find some sections of line in between the lights that's damaged. So there's some other things that could come up on the electrical, but the current estimate is $7,684.70 on the electrical repair. That has also been sent to the insurance company. I spoke to the adjuster yesterday. He had already talked with Astra about their estimate. He was comfortable with their estimate. He was going to speak with Scott Bailey with Lost Mountain Electric today about his estimate. Once he's comfortable with both of those, he'll recommend approval to the insurance company, and we'll be able to get the work finished up and get everything back to top shape. So if there's any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer.
What is our deductible out there?
I think it's $1,000.
How long will repairs take?
The repairs on the runway will take about 2 days. They'll take 1 day to cut a hole out and repair it back so that the runway can be opened back up in the evening hours, and they'll do the same thing the next day. So it'll probably take 2 days to finish up those repairs. It took about a day and a half to get the initial patching done, primarily because we had to mobilize our engineers, which, by the way, I need to give credit to need to give credit to our engineers. They were out within a couple of hours, all the way from the other side of town, in order to evaluate the damage, and they dropped everything they were doing in order to design the temporary patch repair and design the permanent repair. We couldn't get costs or do the repairs without the engineers coming up with those fixes. So they were Johnny on the spot with that, and appreciate very much the effort they put into getting us back up and running with that.
Is there a period of time we need to get the airport down for this concrete to cure?
What we will end up doing is because the damage was right on the touchdown end of the runway, we're able to do what's called a displaced threshold, which means basically we close the first 1,200 feet of the runway and the rest of the runway stays open. So we can actually keep the airport open and keep the runway open while we're making these repairs. If it happened right in the middle of the runway, we wouldn't have been able to do that. But fortunate that the damage was where it was on the very end of the runway.
Mr. Chairman, you need a motion?
I don't know if we need a motion or not. Something's gotta be done.
Yes, sir. It's in excess of 10,000, so
Okay.
we need to
All right.
vote on that.
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Who's second?
Okay. Proceed on then, Blake.
The last item we have here, or item number 8, is just approval of Propeller Airports utilizing the ramp that's just to the west of the terminal and the vacant lot, which I believe is lot number 7 and 8, to the west of the ramp for their what they're calling the movie on the flight line. October the 4th, they will be showing Disney's animated movie Planes at the airport. They're advertising that now all over the county, advertising it through the school system, advertising it through a lot of the other avenues in the county. But looks like it's going to be a great event. They will have a couple of food vendors out there. I think they're supposed to have Little Caesars and maybe some barbecue out there. And be a lot of fun for the kids to be able to come out and actually set out on the airport and watch the movie Planes. So I think it's going to be a great event, but we do need to give them an approval in order to utilize that area for that event. So if there's any questions about that answer. It is just one day.
I need a motion to approve it.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before we go into closed session, let me tell everybody here that it's gonna be a lengthy closed session, because we got a lot of work to do today. And I just wanna let y'all know it's gonna go a little long. I can't tell you how long, but it's gonna go long, so.
Mr. Chairman, I have a suggestion.
What?
Could we amend the agenda if there's any comments or questions? And do that and then go into an executive session so they don't have to sit here?
I don't have a problem with it. Tom, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, it's a motion, you get a motion to amend the agenda, you get a second and a majority vote, they can.
If you so choose, if not, I mean, you can, if they want to stay, they can stay, but,
The comment and question section is actually for board members, not for the public. So-
okay. Never mind.
Okay, all right, need a motion to go into closed session. Second? Second. All in favor?
For purposes of
For purposes
Litigation,
of
land acquisition, personnel.
personnel. Let's see, our personnel.